Good morning, Central Ohio. It's time for another Saturday Morning Uplift.
Sometimes this world feels like a place where I don't want to be. I feel so out of place here 'cause it's just not home to me. But for now I'll tarry here, though the shadows dim my eyes. Still through this present darkness I can feel my spirit cry. Yes, there are blue skies a-coming, though the clouds are dark and gray. Though the thunder and the lightning say a storm is on the way. We've been promised sweet deliverance if we trust Him and obey. There are blue skies coming any day.
I'm here, yes sir. Sorry about the phone trouble earlier, but yes sir, glad to be with you.
Well, it is an absolute honor to have you on the program this morning. And like I said, there's technical difficulties. It happens here all the time. So it's fine. But anyway, you are our special guest, so make yourself at home. Just go to the fridge and get whatever you need, all right? All right. But so anyway, start off, I guess, telling us about yourself and your background, if you will.
Well, sure, thank you. Thank you for having me. My name's Kent Hovind. I've been a Baptist preacher 50 years. I taught high school science and math for 15 years. And I moved to Pensacola in January of '89 and started a ministry called Creation Science Evangelism, using all the scientific evidence to support the Bible. I believe the Bible is true, and the evolution theory is the dumbest religion in the history of the world, the dumbest and most dangerous religion. We're teaching the kids they're an animal, and then we wonder, why do they act like animals? Well, duh. Look what you're teaching them. The Bible says God made everything in 6 days. Everything. So I ask people, you believe the Bible? Yeah. Do you believe He made everything in 6 days? Oh, yeah. Well, when did dinosaurs live? And they get a real puzzled look on their face, like, well, millions of years ago? Hold it. You just said He made everything in 6 days. Somebody's wrong, real seriously wrong. And so I do make a lot of videotapes. You can go to our website, drdino.com, or D-R-D-I-N-O, or come visit our Dinosaur Adventureland in Lenox, Alabama. It's a museum, a science center, a theme park. It's just amazing. 140 acres of stuff on science in the Bible, and it's all free. Yeah, God made everything in 6 days, like He said. So I've done a lot of debates with atheists, 357 of them now, at universities defending the Bible. So if any of your listeners, I don't know if they can call in or not, but they can certainly ask us any questions at 855-BIG-DINO. I'm extension 3, and I'd be glad to help. So, any questions, particular one?
Well, I guess you actually answered a lot of the questions I was going to ask, as to how much does it cost and stuff. But the thing about it is have you, how many debates, or have you ever done any debates about with atheist, if I can talk, I'm having some technical difficulties now, atheist or evolutionist?
Oh, 357 of them. Yep. I got 2 more scheduled in the next couple of weeks. Yeah. One of the debates I did was against 3 atheists at the same time at Embry-Riddle University. One of the atheists asked me, where did God come from? And my 2-minute long answer has 900 million views on YouTube. They type in, where did God come from, by Kent Hovind. You'll see why they don't like us. I believe evolution is the dumbest religion in the world.
Well, I have to say I agree with you, because when you're talking about Scripture and you're talking about what they teach, the little ones in school, it's just like how does you expect them to believe that everything came from nothing and there is no creator?
It's insane. See, people don't realize reptiles never stop growing. Snakes, lizards, turtles, tortoises never stop growing. Well, if you read Genesis chapter 5, the Bible says before the flood came, the people used to live to be 900 years old. Adam lived to be 930. What would happen if a lizard could live to be 900 years old? He'd be 50 feet long. The dinosaurs were just big lizards that lived with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. The Bible says nothing died until Adam sinned. Man brought death into the world. Evolution says death brought man into the world. Well, somebody's wrong. and I enjoy showing them who they are. The Bible is true, and evolution is dumb. So all the evidence they use to support their theory of evolution has been proven wrong. I do a series on that every Friday night on our channel, Genesis Baptist Church channel on YouTube. We're also on about 10 other channels. You can get them on, go to drdino.com and see them. But yeah, we do a series on, we just started Lies in the Textbooks. I did a series several weeks ago on how to prove the earth cannot be billions of years old. It cannot be. If I told you my cell phone was 4,000 years old, you'd say, come on, it can't be. They didn't have cell phones 4,000 years ago. Okay? When they say the earth is billions of years old, it's very easy scientifically to prove that is simply not true. It can't be. And I go through probably 30 different ways to show that, you know. The earth is spinning, obviously, but the earth is slowing down. It slows down 1,000th of a second every day. Well, that means it used to be going faster. So if you go back in time, how far back could you go before that would create a problem? Not billions of years, that's for sure. And then you got the question of where did the initial energy come from for this earth to be spinning? It takes a whole lot of gas to get this big old ball spinning. Well, how did that get started? And yeah, I enjoy picking on the atheists and evolutionists, and if you or your listeners have any questions, I defend the Bible being true. God promised he would preserve his word, and I'm convinced that he did it. And I can hold a copy of it.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you raised a couple of questions. Number one, what is the truth about the dinosaurs, and how old is the Earth? Because I mean, those two are the biggest questions. I've watched. I'll just tell you a little bit about me for a second. I've watched a lot of your videos, as I was growing up and stuff, and they have absolutely fascinated me. And then when I got the email that we could have you on as a guest, I'm like, I was just, excited and so happy, because now, of course, I get to ask the questions that I was watching, the atheist or the evolutionist or the people out in the crowd asking the question. Now I'm the one out in the crowd asking the question. So those two questions, number one is, what is the truth about the dinosaurs, and how old is the Earth? Of course, like you said, going back, how fast, can the Earth go before it would have caused a problem? So how far can you go back with that?
Well, if you look at Genesis chapter 5, it says Adam was 130 when Seth was born. And Seth was 105 when his son was born. The dates are all given right there in Genesis chapter 5, and you can add them up. And then you go to Genesis chapter 11, it picks up the story again after the flood, and it gives a bunch more dates of how old they were when their kids were born. If you add up all the dates in the Bible, you'll find the Bible teaches the earth is about 6,000 years old, not billions of years old, 6,000. Well, then if you look at the scientific evidence, you say, wait a minute, the earth is spinning and slowing down. It can't be billions. The sun is burning up 5 million tons of fuel every second. Well, if you go back in time and add 5 million tons a second to the sun, that's going to change the gravitational pull. I don't think it's logical to say the sun is billions of years old, because it's burning up its fuel, and it's shrinking 5 feet every hour. You look at things like the oceans are gaining salt every day. Rivers run into the ocean, which have mineral salts in them. Mm-hmm. Evaporation takes out the water but leaves the salt behind. The oceans are gaining salt all the time. And today they're 3.6% salt. I think during the flood, the whole world was fresh water. Noah didn't have to bring water on the ark for the animals. It was all fresh water. They've slowly become salty since then, and some animals have adapted to the salt water, like we now have saltwater bass and freshwater bass, saltwater crocodiles and freshwater crocodiles, and they might have had a common ancestor called a crocodile, So all we see is indicators that the earth simply can't be billions of years old. The Bible dates add up to 6,000. If you look at all the ancient history we have, the oldest recorded history we have is less than 6,000 years old. The oldest evidence of a written language is less than 6,000 years old. I go through about 30 or 40 different ways to show the earth can't be billions of years old on my seminar part 1. You can get the whole series, 18 hours, on YouTube, on DVD for $50 from our ministry, drdino.com, and just get the whole series, and when you're done, you can return it. Brother, when I started this ministry 35 years ago, I used to loan my videos out. I learned right away, Christians don't steal, but they do borrow and never return. I said, I'm going to stop this. You got to buy it. When you're done, send it back, and I'll give your money back. So far, that's worked out pretty good.
So what you're saying is you give a deposit.
Well, yeah. And if you forget to come get it, then I got the $50, and I don't have to worry about it. So as far as dinosaurs, like I said, reptiles never stop growing. They never stop. It's called indeterminate growth. You can Google it. Well, before the flood, they lived to be 900. If the lizards were living to be 900, they would get 50, 60, 70 feet long. They were just big lizards with Adam and Eve. And then Noah took them on the ark. He would probably bring babies. He'd be smart enough to do that, being 600 years old. Just be sure to get a pink one and a blue one. There's lots of reasons for bringing babies on the ark. They're smaller, they eat less, they sleep a lot more, and they're tougher. You know, they fall down and bounce and get up and keep going, or adults fall down and break. Plus, after the flood, they would live longer to produce more babies, and that's why you're bringing them. So it'd be logical that Noah would bring babies. After the flood, I think many of them could not survive in the new climate. Something seriously changed during that flood time, causing the lifespans to go from 900 down to 400, down to 200, down to 100. You can look at the dates in Genesis chapter 5 and chapter 11. And I cover on my video number 2, you know, what happened? Why did they live to be 900? And what changed? Why did it drop off? So the big dinosaurs could not survive in the new climate after the flood. Most of them died off or were killed off by people. They called them dragons. And if you could kill one of those, you'd be a hero. You know, Beowulf slew a dragon, Prince George slew a dragon. There's lots of stories of people killing dragons. There could be some still alive today. There have been lots of reports like Loch Ness Monster, Lake Champlain Monster. There are reports of dinosaurs living in the Congo swamp. Small ones, 20 foot. You know, they're not 80 feet like they used to be. But I think there's some still alive. My video number 3, called Dinosaurs in the Bible, goes through hundreds of references like that, where people have seen dinosaurs in the last 50 years.
Right. Well, that's absolutely amazing. I mean, especially when you're talking about, you know, Noah taking them onto the ark and as babies. Now, you know, that is actually something that, you know, I'm just kind of blown away now because, you know, if he didn't, like you said, if he brought an adult, you know, number one, they'd be very large, and like you said, you know, it's you want them to live longer so they could reproduce, of course. So that brings my next question in a way here is what led you to start the ministry and the Dinosaur Adventure Land? The ministry, I'm assuming it's a ministry because, you know, you said that, you know, you give the $50 deposit and you can have it back when you return the DVDs, of course. So what led you to, you know, start the Adventure Land?
Well, as a brand new Christian, when I was 16, majored in math and science, ended up teaching math and science 15 years. I love science, and I was reading my science books, and they're teaching me the earth is billions of years old. And I'm also reading my Bible now as a new Christian, saying, well, somebody's lying to me. I'm going to figure out who it is. So I began avidly studying all the books by Henry Morris and Dwayne Gish and those guys teaching on creation, and excellent stuff. But they go kind of too deep. You know, they use all the big words that nobody understands. And so I was really filling my head with this stuff for years. Then I moved to Pensacola in 1989 to put my wife through college. And well, the neighbor kid said, would you like to take the paper? I said, no, I don't have a parakeet. But he kept throwing extras in the yard once in a while, and I picked up one that said dinosaur bones were found in Montana from 80 million years ago. I said, somebody's got to put a stop to this. So I wrote my first ever letter to the editor. I said, these dinosaur bones they found were from ones that drowned in the flood. The earth is not billions of years old, and dinosaurs lived with man. Well, they published that letter in the newspaper, Pensacola News Journal, and boy, the atheists went nuts. I started a war in Pensacola by publishing that letter. And they started writing in, and I wrote in. Finally, some students at the university in West Florida, Pensacola, said, hey, Kent, would you come debate one of our professors? I said, well, I've never had a debate in my life, except with my wife, and I lose those every time. But sure. So I did my first ever debate in 1989, and about 1,200 people there, I guess, and a bunch of pastors came. And afterwards they said, wow, would you come share this stuff on creation at our church? I said, well, sure. So I started traveling and speaking. It very quickly exploded into a full-time ministry where I was speaking 900 times a year on the topic of creation and defending the Bible as being true. And so I traveled to 37 countries and all 50 states. And then 8 years ago, a guy bought this property up in Alabama for us, straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles, and he gave us 140 acres. So we have a 12,000 square foot science center, a museum, a farm, a theme park, all kinds of stuff to teach about God's creation. It's all free. Come visit, brother. You won't believe it. The only problem is we got well water, and I taught biology 15 years, and a lot of people don't know this, but if you drink well water, your babies will be born naked. So just be prepared for that.
I'm sorry, Doctor. You got me tickled now. That was a good one. Oh, man.
Well, we have 25 cabins. People stay in for free. We feed them. We house them. After 2 days, we give them a hammer, put them to work. Whole place has been built by volunteers and donations. It's amazing. Only other problem we have, besides the well water, my wife keeps serving tea for lunch. And I have told her that tea is dangerous. A lot of people don't know this. There was an Indian one time that drank 4 gallons of iced tea. That night, he drowned in his teepee. So be careful with that stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
Does it show that I taught high school 15 years and it messed up my brain permanently?
Absolutely not. It doesn't show at all, which actually introduces into the next question of what are the typical lies used in the textbooks to teach evolution? And the museums, of course, too.
One of the favorite ones they always use is called embryology, the growth of the baby inside the mother, the embryo. Mm-hmm. What happened back in 1859, Charles Darwin wrote his book about evolution, and he said we should find evidence for this theory. Well, there was a professor at a university in Germany who taught embryology. He taught how different animals develop inside the mother, what stages they go through. And he read Darwin's book and loved it. And Darwin said, we should find evidence for my theory. Well, 10 years later, they still had no evidence. So this professor, his name was Ernst Haeckel, he made up some. He faked a bunch of drawings of different animals and made the babies, before they're born, look just alike. He said all the animals, humans included, have gill slits before they're born. He lied. He made it up. It was proven that he lied. 5 years later, his own university held a trial and said, Mr. Haeckel, you're lying. This is not true. The humans do not have gill slits at this stage of growth. He faked his drawings to make them look alike. His university said this is a lie, and you're right, I fudged it, I lied. They're still teaching it today. It was proven wrong in 1874. 150 years ago. How long does it take to get textbooks up to date? It's not true. The embryos do not have gill slits. That's one of their. Type in just at Google evidence for evolution. That's the one they use every time. Embryology, and they'll show pictures of different animals as they grow in the mother, and the pictures will all look just alike. And they're fake drawings. They're lying. Tell them I said so. I'll debate anybody on that. I'll debate all the professors at the same time if I get half the time, and we discuss one topic at a time. But they're just plain lying about that.
Wow.
That's one of about 30 lies. Video number 4 of my series is called Lies in the Textbooks. And I show all the different lies that they use to support this dumb religion. Say, look, guys, this simply is not true. Stop teaching this. I was debating an atheist one time, and I mentioned 30 or 40 lies in the textbooks, and when I got done, this atheist said, well, Mr. Hovind is right. These things they're not true. But he said, if you want to take these out of the textbooks, what are you going to replace them with? I said, replace them? Maybe you need to get a new theory. If you don't have any evidence for your theory, it's not my job to find evidence for your theory. I think your theory's stupid. Don't use lies to promote your theory. It's real simple. But it was funny that this atheist said, yeah, it's my job to find evidence for that theory. I'm sorry, I don't believe that theory. Okay?
Yeah. Now, I have to say, I'm very agreeance on obviously all of this, but the thing about it is like, I've heard it said many times before, is like, are you religious? Okay, here's the thing. I tell everybody I'm not religious. I'm not religious, I'm a Christian. I'm a Christ follower. And there's many different religions out there. Of course, like, those beliefs, religions, you can call them whatever you want. But there's only, obviously, the wrong and the right way. There's a black and white kind of, thing to it.
Well, yeah, obviously there's only two choices. Somebody made the world, or the world made itself. Nobody's thought of a third choice. Either somebody made this place, or nobody made it. And if nobody made it, I think they got to figure out, well, how did we get here then? The only answer they've come up with is it made itself from a big bang. Well, that's not an answer. That's a religion. Nobody ever sees this happen. We don't see big bangs make anything except big messes. And it doesn't answer the question, where did the matter come from? Where did the energy come from? Where did all this design come from? So they just simply avoid all that and say, well, we believe it happened. Okay, you can believe whatever you want, but quit calling it science and quit making for all of us pay to teach that in the textbooks. It's not science, it's a religious worldview.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's only, it's kind of one-sided if you want to think about it that way. Yeah. Anyway, back on topic, I guess, in a way. What all do you have at the Dinosaur Adventureland? Of course, you said the amusement park and all that stuff, and it doesn't cost anything, but what could someone expect? And I guess, in a way, what is going to get someone excited listening today to come to the Dinosaur Adventureland? Like, what kind of big things in there that you got that's just waiting to be seen?
Well, if you read the comments from people who've been here, we've had visitors from all 50 states and 7 countries. They all say, man, this is magic. Our science center, for instance, goes through the 7 days of creation. Day 1, let there be light. So we've got a whole room full of science experiments about light, electricity, gravity, magnetism. We have a Tesla coil, a Van de Graaff generator, all kinds of cool stuff on light. Light can be reflected, refracted, diffused. Nobody knows what light is. What is light? Give me a jar of it. Nobody knows what it is. They call it an electromagnetic force or wave. Okay, well, show me some. I can see what light does. Nobody knows what gravity is. I can show you what it does. It pulls things toward the Earth, and you can drop something. We know the acceleration of gravity and all that. I taught physics for years. But nobody knows what gravity is. And with all kinds of cool science experiments, to give God the glory for his creation. Like, called me 4 years.
Yeah.
Neighbor.
Yeah, you're starting to break up on us there. Not sure.
And my neighbor was a world-class hunter and taxidermist, and he died. He wants to donate his whole collection to you. And we have the largest taxidermy collection, I think, in the whole state of Alabama. There are 8 different kinds of bears in the world. We've got a stuffed mounted, each one of them, and except for a polar bear. All the bears in the world might have had a common ancestor called a bear. It doesn't prove they're related to butterflies. So we've got a huge taxidermy collection, a cool hands-on science center. Our playground outside is incredible. Science lessons that teach kids to give God the glory. We have 17 lakes for fishing and swimming and boating. 25 cabins people can stay in, or 20 motorhome hookups you can camp. You've got your own motorhome. Let's see, what else? We've got a farm with all kinds of animals that are friendly, petting zoo. We had 4 emus donated to us. One was not very friendly, so he ended up on the Thanksgiving dinner table. But now the other 3 are very friendly. You can come pet the emus. Kids go crazy. You get to pet the cows and friendly, everything. It's really like a petting zoo kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So now, come on down, see the place.
Yeah, now there is one place that's not too far away from where we're at here in Ohio. It's actually in Mansfield, Ohio. I don't know if you ever heard of it or not. It's called the Bible Walk Museum. I've been there before, and they have this ginormous collection of wood carvings. They have a wax museum and a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I know I'm not advertising for them, but I'll tell you, if you ever walk in there and they know who you are, you're going to be staying there for a while. Let's put it that way.
I have heard of it. I've never seen it. I'd like to come see that sometime.
Well, I tell you what, if you're ever up in Ohio, let us know, and we'll be able to meet face to face, of course. Because I mean, I'll go with you. Because I mean, we went and did a little bit of a tour of it here from the TV station. Because this is a radio station, of course, and then we have the TV station as well. We did a little tour, and I think that we only seen a little under half, or a little bit over half, about half of it. And what I did see was just absolutely. I mean, they have one of the largest, if not the largest, collection of old Bibles. I mean, Bibles that are just from ever ago that ain't even in the language you speak now.
Wow, awesome. I preached in Mansfield when I was traveling around preaching, and you got some sinners up there. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I'm aware.
Okay.
Yeah, so
I'll come back straight some of them up.
but anyway,
Well,
so one of the questions is, what is the goal of your ministry? I mean, I know that, of course, to teach the children the right way, not the wrong way, but, what else would you want to add into that question?
Well, Jesus told his disciples before he left, he said, I want you to go into all the world, preach the gospel to every creature, get them saved, get them baptized, and teach them to go do the same thing. So that's the goal of our ministry, is to do what Jesus said. We try to get people saved, get their heart to the Lord, get them baptized in our lake. We got 17 lakes. We've had about 250 or 60 some baptized, and then teach them to go do the same. When I start my seminar, I say I've got 3 goals in mind. Number 1, I want to strengthen your faith in the Word of God. Number 2, if you're not saved, I'm going to try to get you saved. And number 3, if you're saved and not doing anything for the Lord, I'm going to try to make you uncomfortable. There's a war going on. Mm-hmm. Do something. If you're not going to shoot, carry bullets. But do something. Mm-hmm. Everybody can do something for the Lord. Mm-hmm. The worst of you could serve as bad examples, if nothing else. That could be your professional ministry. Be a bad example. So, we don't need any more of those, by the way. But, yeah find something to do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm reminded of, you said carry bullets around. I mean, I'm reminded of Barney Fife carrying that one bullet in his pocket. He always was ready to shoot if he needed to, but, he didn't keep it in his gun. But, there was actually a local minister here who told me, he said, hey, you know what? If my bullet fits your gun, you go right ahead and shoot it.
Ooh, I like that. I'm going to use that one.
So there you go. If the pastor that just heard me say that, hey, you just heard Dr. Kent Hovind said he's going to use that. So hope you don't have any copyrights on it. So anyway, oh well. So again, where do you find all your material, and how do you go about it? Of course, we know that I'm going to look up that DVD set or that set, and I don't know if I'm going to return it. I might just pass it on, so I'm not going to get my deposit back, of course, but
well, you can not only watch it, you can make copies. One guy in Dallas called me, said he's made 46,000 copies and gives them to all his friends and enemies. And he said it's his ministry. He's making copies of my bullets to shoot. I said, go get them. Please do. So get my videos, copy them all you want. Just don't sell them. We got it. That's our intellectual property. But you can copy them. You can give them away for free. Now, go to drdino.com, DRDINO. drdino.com is our website. There you can see all the channels we're on. And Genesis Baptist Church is our church here in Lenox, Alabama. Good luck finding Lenox on a map. Look straight north of Pensacola, 70 miles, and get a magnifying glass and look real small. A little bitty town, 30 people. And we love it up here.
Now, I guess that's wonderful. And me and Tom looked at each other. By the way, he's the silent person today. He's the one kind of keeping it. I told him, I said, you stay at the controls, and I'll ask the questions, make it a little easier on me, because sometimes I'm over there doing the controls and stuff. But anyway, copy them and give them away. Just don't sell them. That is probably one of the, you're hearing it first here, and you're probably going to only hear it from Dr. Dino, if you don't mind me calling you that, that I don't think anybody else is going to appreciate, you copying their DVDs and stuff, but you heard it first. You give them away, you can copy them. I mean, and the thing about it is that is the point of ministry. And when you're talking about ministry, you have got to do what Jesus said, is go into the world and preach what? The gospel and the truth.
Yeah, I tell people we're trying to win a war, not build a castle. Do something. If you can use our bullets, if they fit your gun, I like that one. Put them in, use them.
So one last question, and I'll let you get back to enjoying that. I feel like when we called, when we finally got connected, you said that you live out in the middle of nowhere, and you just got elected there last week.
I'm just kidding. When I moved up here to Lenox, they said, you're so far out in the boondocks, they have to pump in the sunshine. They said, now, the moonshine flows freely, but the sunshine, they got to pump that in. So, I don't know about that.
Yeah, so you out there, out in the middle of nowhere, literally. So, yeah. But
It's amazing. 140 acres, an old gravel pit, nothing here but mud. We've built all kinds of stuff. We have 25 cabins you can stay in. Our dining hall is, I forget how big, that is huge. We feed 3,000 meals a month for free, just all based on donations. People say that, I like that place, I'm going to support it. Okay. We have a church. I'm standing in front of it now, Genesis Baptist Church. We broadcast every night, except for a Saturday night, on Genesis Baptist Church YouTube and 9 or 10 other channels. You can get them all on drdino.com. Yeah, come on down, visit. Spend a couple days.
I tell you what, I don't know if you might not be able to get it all in a couple of days. All the stuff that you're talking about, I mean, I think a person, if they go out there and, they're going to need to be spending some time and really looking in and thinking about exactly what they're seeing. Because I know when I went to the Bible Walk Museum, in Mansfield, it kind of just took my breath away. Like the first few things that you look at, you're like, okay, yeah, that's nice. And then you just kind of get sucked into like one specific thing and you just don't want to walk away from it. It's just like your mind just gets wandering and deep thoughts, and you just never stop thinking about it. I've still, it's been almost 2 years now since I've been to the Bible Walk Museum, and I live just down, not too far away from it, but I'm still thinking about it. So, but anyway, are you wanting to do more? Of course, it being a ministry, I'm sure that the answer is going to be yes. But what exactly things can you see out on the horizon that you're like, hey, we get the support, we get the funding, whatever. We want to do this. What is kind of the goal, and what are you wanting to do?
Well, I've always had a dream that right now the world's biggest dinosaur is in Alberta, Canada. It's in a town of 3,000 people. And they have a concrete and steel dinosaur that's 82 feet tall. You can climb up inside and look out the mouth over nothing, Canada there. And they've had 375,000 visitors a year come to see the world's biggest dinosaur. Well, I want to build one bigger than that in Lenox, Alabama. I think Lenox ought to have the world's biggest dinosaur. So that's one. It's going to cost about $1 million, and we got about $20 saved up for that project. So we're getting there.
Hey, you've got to start someplace. You've got to start someplace. This whole organization that you being interviewed by, I guess, called COACB, it started in, I believe, 1977 with a black and white camera, and it was on public access channel. And as of today, we are now covering with television alone, just television, almost 6 million people potentially. And then obviously the radio, of course, being on the internet. With the expansion of the internet's absolutely amazing. People use it for good and bad, of course. You should always use it for good, but with the expansion of the internet, those people, where was it, Tom, that you said there was somebody listening in, Germany or something like that? There's a constant...
Yeah, we've got a stream from Germany, Denmark. They're like constantly connected to our radio streams because I see them in AzureCast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, it's absolutely amazing. So I mean, you just never know who's going to be listening. Also, this is on Facebook and YouTube, and it gets archived, and I mean, it's...
And we stream 24/7.
Yeah, so on coacbradio.org. You can listen to it there. But, yes, but we are doing the exact same thing as you are, just in a different category. You may be the foot, and we may be the hand, but we're still a part of the one body.
Amen. Well, if I can help in any way, brother, I'd love to come on your program anytime. Or if you come down to Lenox, Alabama, we'll put you on my program. We've got 30,000 listeners on Facebook and YouTube and other things every day. So we'll promote yours too. Come on down.
Hey, we'll do that. That's for sure. I mean, here's the thing. There's no I's in team. There's only it's all we're supposed to be working for that one glorious master, which his name is Jesus, and the creator, the Lord, Lord up above. So, amen. Well, thank you so much for letting us interview today, and I know that you also have a Zoom meeting with Miss Kaylee on the television. That'll be airing, folks to listen. That'll be airing sometime here in June. But he'll be recording that on Monday. But I'm looking forward to. I might have to just kind of sit in the corner, be that fly on the wall, and listen to the interview with her all over again, getting to listen to all this. But this is absolutely fascinating. It's an honor to have you on the program.
Well, thank you, sir. You asked what the next project is. We don't really have a plan. What I do, I eat a lot of pizza with peanut butter on it before I go to bed. And you wake up at 2 in the morning with wild ideas. That's how I got my daughter, but that's a different story. Anyway.
Oh, goodness.
So it's always something going on here.
Yes. Well, once again, Dr. Kent, I appreciate you and what you're doing, and we'll definitely have to keep in touch. And if you, like I said, if you're ever up in Ohio, look us up. Maybe little, I guess you could say we're not quite as magnifying glass, but you can zoom into Ohio there between Mansfield and Columbus. You can find Marion, and that's where our headquarters is here. But yeah, stop in or shoot us an email anytime that you're around this area, and we'll definitely meet up and maybe go to that Bible Walk Museum. That'll be very interesting to go to.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, brother.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Yep. Bye now. Dr. Kent Hovind, and I tell you what, I don't even have a word other than wow, Tom. I don't even have a word other than wow. So, but hope you enjoyed that interview.
But I'm thankful for the journey. The journey got me here.
Just watch and see what God can do. Jesus, there's something about the name of Jesus.
God handled it all.
My God fixed it all.
His plan was
Mercy,
great.
I'm on my way.
Best in Southern Gospel is found right here on COACB Radio.
Blessing from